Welcome to J.O.K. Rosenberger, the world's finest specialty accounting firm, specializing in services to the insurance industry, accounting, compliance, consulting. Our SAP Chat question this episode is, when do we apply GAAP, Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, in the preparation of statutory basis financial statements? So I like this question. Interestingly enough, it came to us in a recent peer review of our practice here, where somebody who is less familiar with insurance enterprises asked us whether or not we should be including disclosure about uncertain tax positions in statutory basis financial statements. So remembering that statutory basis accounting principles, they are another comprehensive basis of accounting, sometimes called OCBOA, sometimes called a special purpose framework. And prior to 2000, this answer would have been a little bit different. In fact, it would have been the opposite. You would have said definitely you need to include GAAP basis disclosures or consider GAAP basis disclosures when preparing statutory financial statements. And the way we got there was that auditing standards imposed on auditors a requirement to evaluate special purpose frameworks to determine the fair presentation of those financial statements in a manner such that the auditor should consider any analogous situations in GAAP and apply them to the subject matter which we're addressing in our statutory financial statements. Now, subsequent to codification, we now have a comprehensive basis of accounting statements, procedures, and a comprehensive basis of disclosure requirements. So along came EITF 03-1, which gives us the requirement to disclose certain assets in unrealized loss positions greater than or less than 12 months. Now, when that standard came about, the auditors immediately reached out to all of their clients and said, hey, you know what? You need to include this disclosure in your statutory basis financial statement. And of course, they hadn't considered them because the timing of the standard was such that it came out after the preparation of their annual statements and everything else. So the NAIC addressed this. They issued an interpretation, 04-1, and that interpretation said you don't need to include GAAP basis pronouncements. You don't need to consider GAAP basis pronouncements until and unless they've been addressed by the NAIC. Now, subsequently, that interpretation has actually been removed from what we have in the Statutory Accounting Practices and Procedures Manual because it already existed in principle in the preamble. So if you look today at paragraph 24 of the preamble, you'll see that same statement. And it's a statement that says, don't apply GAAP unless it's been addressed by the NAIC. So that's how we get to where we are. There are sometimes still some confusion out there. There are some auditors that want to apply GAAP, but I would tell you that I conclude that you don't need to do so. Thank you for joining us on SAP Chat. We look forward to seeing you in a future episode, and if you have a question, submit it to us on sapchat.com.